it was silly, ridiculous, a waste of time. They didn't want. That's why they were so successful. That's why they got away from it.
I've made a living in very dangerous.
Integrated language society.
Dianne Andrews in black and white.
Hello, this is Fuji Totes. I'm making a little video for you to see how the pillow works with the doggy in it. I have driven all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada, and taken Fuji and my other dog, my multiple, with me with their meds, their leashes, their water cup, and whatever. And one pack, a couple of packs of food are in the bottom of this. Even with all that in the bottom, he can still lay here and feel nothing. You see him sitting down on it. He can still do that with all the things in there.
Welcome to Dianne Andrews in black and white. I'm your host, Dianne Andrews. Thanks for turning into us today, whether you're watching us on KZUP, on Cox 13 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and around the areas, or whether you're watching us on our YouTube, on our Rumble, or whether you're watching us on social media. I've been on a sabbatical for 4 months. I had a toxic reaction to a zinc immune shot that I got because I had a yeast infection from a URI, from amoxicillin. People who know the penicillins are more likely, if you have an infection and you take penicillin, you're more likely to get a yeast infection. Now, it was going fine until I went to it is an immune spa, a medical spa, and I got zinc, glutathione, and vitamin C. I'd had vitamin C and glutathione previously, but never with zinc in it. And from that day on, I broke out from head to below my breast, my arms, my legs. It was a mess. And so I want to give a shout out to Dr. Watley from the dermatology clinic because he stayed late to see me and I'm not a patient there. So I want to thank everybody, and we're going to do a show next month on eczema because it caused me to have yeast eczema and the toxic reaction to the zinc. He said the two were fighting. The yeast and the zinc were fighting. I said, well, I guess Dr. Watley, the yeast won, didn't it? Because it took about 4 months for me to really get cleared up. I wasn't sick, but some did get in my throat, and I had laryngitis for 2 months. A friend of mine had yeast infection in their ears, and they went deaf. Yeast is something you don't want to play with, and people don't know the hazards. So we'll be doing a show on that with the dermatology clinic. Today, you're going to see one of our old friends who's been here multiple times, Mr. Eric Lane. He's usually here with Matt Coday. We do a series on oil and gas. We're going to talk a little bit about oil and gas today, but we're going to talk about his new venture in Zachary, his new dealership down there that I was invited to the opening, and it's such a beautiful facility. But we're also going to talk some business about what are the tariffs, what have they done. I know auto parts are part of the tariff, I guess, or I think they held them up if they're made, which a lot of our auto parts are made out of the country. Of course, anything made in America is not have a tariff. A tariff is kind of a tax for people who are selling stuff inside our country. If you go to Europe, you're not going to see American cars. If you go to, because the tariffs are very high, I think I will ask Eric about that. He's the expert. But I did read that in India, if you buy a Harley Davidson, they're going to double it. The tariffs double the cost. So if I don't know what they cost, $60,000, $70,000 now, I guess. It's going to cost $140,000. So how many people are going to buy our products? And that's what Trump is trying to do. He's trying to even level down the playing field with that. So come on back. We're going to talk a little bit too about the bunker busters over in Iran. We didn't kill people like Obama did with his drone busters all over the Middle East when he killed over 4,000 people. So come on back to Dianne Andrews in black and white. You all know Eric Lane, one of my favorite people. Thanks, Eric, for being here with us today. And as always, I asked Matt if he wanted to join us. He said, no, I don't know anything about tariffs, Dianne. I only know about oil and gas. Well, we're still number one in the world in producing oil, if people don't know. And most people don't know. America, United States, is number one producing oil and gas since Donald Trump was in the first time, 2018. We became number one, and we're still number one. And Saudi Arabia's number two, and Russia's number three. And Biden was buying oil from Russia. Why? And they have Canada's up there too, for it to be such a small. That's why I'm trying to make them the 51st state, right? They got rare minerals and a lot of oil there. Iran, that's why I looked at it, Eric, because Iran, we don't really get a lot of oil or anything from Iran.
No.
And they're like number 6 or 7th. Iraq produces a lot more oil than Iran does, I was reading. So you want to start off, what do you want to start off with? Tariffs, the bunker busters over in Iran, or about your dealership?
Let's talk about my dealership.
I figured that. It's a beautiful facility.
Thank you.
I tell you, send me a picture that you have one of the, and we'll put it on the screen.
Yeah, we just opened up about 2 months ago,
Right.
a new
Was
state
it
of the
that
art.
far I was out there?
It's about 2 months ago.
Really? Wow, time flies.
And we had a very nice event. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We have one of the only air conditioned service departments in this area.
Really? Other people are working this heats under the cars doing service. Oh my God.
So we have the whole shop is air conditioned, and this type of time of year, the technicians have a hard time keeping up during the day when it's super hot.
Yeah.
Well, this allows their productivity to continue throughout the day because they're working at 72 degrees.
Oh, that's wonderful. I can't believe, well, I guess a lot of the dealerships are older though, right? There are not a lot of new ones.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Because even here in Baton Rouge, then you wouldn't be air conditioned down
No,
Florida.
We're not.
Where did you buy that? Who owned that before? That place? You didn't
Polk,
build it, I don't think.
Herb Polk.
It was a car dealership.
Yeah, actually, my dad was Polk's first employee. So my dad really built it.
Oh, really?
He oversaw the whole building project for Polk.
Right. You all know Eric is the president of the Gerry Lane Enterprises, and Gerry was his father.
Yes.
So, and you're still the #1 Chevrolet dealership in the state. You were voted #1.
Mm-hmm.
You have Jeep.
We have Chrysler,
Buick?
Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and then we have Cadillac.
You have Buick too, don't
We
you?
have Buick and GMC and Chevrolet.
Yeah. So you didn't get #1 on the others? So is there
we
some
did.
competition? Oh, everything, the
we were
whole
number
the whole
one.
enterprise.
We were the #1 General Motors dealer in the state.
Uh-huh.
We're #1 in GMC, #1 in Cadillac, #1 in Chevrolet. Probably not sure we got #1 in Buick, 1 or 2. We were close.
Yeah.
So we're very happy.
Yeah, it ought to be a good
And I thank
staff
all
there.
our customers that made that happen because it wasn't us, it was the customers that made it happen.
Well, you have to have good service, and I'm not only talking about serving the car, I'm talking about marketing people and everybody to buy your cars and to continue to buy your cars. So let's talk about okay, we're done with the dealership now. Let's get down to some U.S. business, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were for the bunker bombing, which killed nobody of Iran, right? To get through those 3 sites.
The whole world knows that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
You can't find anybody in their right mind that thinks that Iran should have a nuclear weapon because they would use it on Israel. They would literally kill everybody in Israel.
And they would kill America too.
Yeah,
No question.
They wouldn't stop with Israel.
Right.
Saudi Arabia would probably be next.
Mm-hmm, they hate them.
They hate them. So, there's no way Iran can have a nuclear weapon. Everybody knows it, but nobody wanted to do anything about it. So we finally had to, between us and Israel, it had to happen. In fact, look at the stock market. The stock market went up after the bombing.
Oh, good. Okay.
So it's something that had to happen.
Well, France, UK, and Germany came out yesterday and said, we do not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon.
Right,
They're
nobody
saying
does.
So why is everybody talking bad about Donald Trump? He could bring Christ down here and pray with him, and people would say something bad about what he's done.
You have to look at what Donald Trump does, not what he says. That's the biggest thing.
But I think he said that he gave him 60 days, and on the 61st
but I'm
day.
just saying, in general, Donald Trump will say things that inflame people.
Yeah.
You just look at his works.
That's right. Look at his record.
And look at what he's done and what he's doing. And that's why, Donald Trump is doing incredible things, is his work, not his talk. His talk a lot of times is not good.
Well, I don't have a big problem with his talk. I guess maybe I understand him. And, I came from corporate America. I was with IBM, remember? And there weren't too many black women when I was a program on the space shuttle, majored in mathematics undergrad, right? And but even when I went to the marketing division, they would tell you, they would get us in these meetings, say, you better get the F and get done what needs to be done to make this happen.
Right.
So, and maybe that's why, because, and that was a formal company. It wasn't like a collar, what do they call them, blue collar construction people out there. Because Donald Trump would get out there and watch them work and help them, I understand. He'd get out there and put a hammer and a nail together. But yeah, but if you listen to MSNBC and listen to CNN, they never say what he's really done.
No,
They're only going to say the bad thing.
Because
at least he'll talk to you, and he doesn't use an auto pen. Who was running this country? That's why he bought a $12 million house or $10 million, whatever, big time $1 million house in Adams Mark and never left Washington, D.C. I think he's one of the few presidents that stayed in Washington. Most people are so happy to get out of Washington after the presidency, but he stayed.
Well, I'd still like to know why he sent $5.5 billion in gold and $100 bills in an overnight plane.
That's right.
To Iran with nobody's approval.
That's right.
Overnight, so it couldn't be taken
Let me
back.
tell you what James Carville said about that the other day. That, he gave him all that money when he was in office in planes in the middle of the night. If it was all legitimate, why did you fly it over there in the middle of the night and land drop it in cash?
That's correct.
And
gold.
Yeah, and gold to Iran. But they were saying, James Carville from New Orleans said the other day that money was owed to them from something, I guess we had been holding some sanctions or something on them. And he said they were owed that money because somebody was arguing with him on News Nation about that. He had another person who was for, talking about what was going on. And Carville, of course, was against Trump. And that's what he said. That's why he gave him that money. I've never heard that one before.
Well, the money was frozen. Was it legitimate or not? I don't know.
Right.
But all I know is that they used that money to finance terror.
That's right.
Against us.
Like Hamas. And against Israel.
That's
it's more terror than anybody's going against, right, is Israel. When you look at Hamas, I've done some shows on the Gaza Strip. And I learned a lot about how small Gaza really is, right? It's only like 5 to 7 miles long or something. It's like Kashmir down between Pakistan and India, right? Trump just stopped that war because they're fighting over Kashmir, another little piece between those two when they broke the country up. I think it was 1948 when they gave Israel that piece of land.
I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people probably don't know. Do you know who trained Hamas?
Probably us. Was it us?
No.
It wasn't Israel.
The Nazis who fled Germany at the end of the war, World War II, they went over to Hamas and started training the Arabs to kill the Jews. And so
Hitler was still getting what he wanted done.
That was everything they learned since the 50s came from the Nazis. Most people don't know.
You know what? I think I did see a documentary.
There's a documentary on it.
Yeah, I think I did see part of that. Yeah. Well, if you said, I know you're going to be right, but that's amazing. How that hatred, and me being, black, I can, hatred is just hatred amongst some people.
It's no good.
But I don't see, it seems like we blacks have come a mighty long ways.
Yes.
Because I see when Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg, the other day said on The View that she was arguing with one of her other co-hosts on there. And she was saying how bad it was what they've done to the Israelite people. And Whoopi said, that's no different than what they do to black people. And the woman said, not in 2025. We don't do that to black people. She said, oh, yes, we do. You're just not black. Please. There's not equal treatment for anybody. Some white people get bad treatment, and there is still something about being black, of course, with some people who are stupid, like Hamas is still trying to kill Jewish people, right?
Correct.
And that'll be till the end of time. And it's not only with black people, but we are not being treated like Israel people are treated by Hamas in Gaza.
That's right.
It's ridiculous. I did a show with a rabbi and a Nation of Islam Muslim. You're talking about a good show. And I learned a lot about what's really going on. Hamas gets their money from Iran. All the schools, all the equipment they get, everything they get is from Iran. Because Hamas people have no jobs. Not a lot of jobs. They don't have a functioning, country financially. So when they lost money under Trump, he put the sanctions on the oil. Biden took the sanctions off the oil. And I think they made about $200 billion, a lot of money in that 4 years because they're a big oil company, right? A country. And now I'm sure Trump has put those sanctions back on Iran.
Correct.
But they funded all that terrorism under Biden based on money that we allowed them to do
Yes.
because Biden, maybe the auto pen, took the sanctions off that Donald Trump had put on Iran for the oil.
Yes.
Because there's some, and so it wasn't quite as much when Donald Trump was there of hatred and killing among Hamas against all the people in the Middle East. But when Biden was there, it got worse again because he was funding Yemen. He was funding Hamas. He was funding all those countries. Don't you think? All those cities and countries in there. And he had a lot of money for Israel, to go after Israel. It seems like now, to me, people are talking about this administration, but they were so smart. You know, they sent some decoy planes another direction, and people never knew that they were going with the bunker bombs on the Stout B-2 bomber?
The B-2 bomber, yeah.
That is, have you ever seen a demo of that plane? Or you may have seen it in person.
Well, that's why they've been in operation for 55 years.
They're amazing.
Because they're just so amazing.
Oh, they're that old and they still do what they do.
They still fly.
I wonder who invented that. That was one bright person.
They're very smart.
Isn't that the one that, well, China copies all our military equipment, and over in the Middle East, like Afghanistan, is running around on our tanks and everything because we left Bagram.
We've left all that stuff.
We left $120 billion of our equipment in Afghanistan when Biden or whoever pulled us out. That makes no sense. People asked me the other day, well, Dianne, excuse me, I have allergies. Well, Dianne, how did you expect to get them back? We got them over there, didn't we? We flew them, we put them on ships, and they took it all. And it took Bagram that we had put $200 billion into. Best Air Force base in the world, and now China's in there.
Yep.
If you look at your globe, and I'll probably put one up, you'll see right in that area, Iran, Iraq, Russia right over here, and China right over there. They're all together like states. And we allowed them to get all of that. That makes no sense. Do you really think they're making military tanks in Afghanistan?
No.
And the day we left out, who was the Taliban, who hates women, obviously, except for their own use, was riding around in our tanks. And I understand they sell them on the dark web, getting rich off our equipment we left there.
That's correct.
And that infuriates me. So I know it infuriates Donald Trump because he had built up our military again. And now he's got to do it again. Obama left $80 billion in Iraq when he left. He didn't bring back our equipment either. It's insane. People need to know the facts. If you know the facts, I think you would be a little less harsh on the President of the United States who almost got killed for this country.
Yes.
Twice. So, I mean, I like him. I always did.
Me too.
When he first started at 15, I said, I like Donald Trump. I lived in New York when I was with IBM, excuse me. And I remember with the little boys from it was what's the name of that park? Central Park. The Central Park 5 or 6, whatever the number is, that they said these little boys had raped this white lady, little black boys. Now, everybody was mad with Donald Trump about that because he did make a negative comment about where they should go. But I thought they were guilty too because they confessed. But they made a movie about it recently, or maybe 10 years ago. What had happened, they went to their fathers and their mothers, threatening them their jobs if they didn't say their boys did, if the boys didn't say they did it. So they really didn't do it. All of them didn't do it. So a lot of people remember that from Donald Trump, but he wasn't in presidency then. He wasn't in politics then. He was a businessman. And, you know, people in New York don't like him either. White people don't like him there. I wonder why. They never did. And he was a Democrat at first. They used to come to him for money, but they couldn't stand him. So there were 3 sites, right, that Trump sent the bombs into. And I think that thing will go, 200 feet under through concrete? Yeah. That bunker bomb, I think that it's named.
Bunker busters.
Busters. And that was our first time using it in active duty, that part, the bunker busters I read.
Well, it was invented for Afghanistan, and that's how they started trying to invent it because of all the mountains in Afghanistan.
Oh, really?
They had to try to penetrate into the mountains. That's how it started.
Okay, well, it turned out being good for us too, right? But this was the first time it went live, right?
Yes.
I don't consider this war. I consider this a military strike. Just what Obama did, what Bill Clinton did for the ethnic cleansing in Kosovo when he went after Serbia. He went after Serbia. So all these 2 Republicans, which I was shocked, MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is against him, and Massey is against him. He's always against everything he does. But you have so many Democrats telling me we're going to impeach him. What are you impeaching for? AOC is talking about that, and then Omar. Go back to Somalia, Omar, if you hate this country so much. People who are not from here, who hate it here, leave, right? Go back.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. So what do you think is going to happen? They're saying retaliation. I did read that they met with Russia.
Well, they sent 6 missiles today that were all intercepted to the air base,
To ours?
our U.S. air base.
In the Middle East?
In Qatar and Qatar.
Qatar.
And they intercepted all 6 of them. So none of them even penetrated.
Yeah, that was another thing. We flew with no interruption. They never saw us coming. So their defense mechanism, Israel had destroyed it. I think it was just a world-class effort between Israel and America.
Absolutely.
Because Netanyahu is relentless.
Yes.
He has the smallest minority population in the world. There are only 40 to 50 million Jewish people in the world. And he plans to keep as many as he can alive.
Yes.
After you get out of Israel, the next largest is New York City. So they're not, when I did a shows on every religion. I've done all of them except Buddha. And I found that out. I was shocked how small the Jewish religion and Jewish race really is.
Well, I went to Egypt with my wife, and I went to Egypt, and we saw a lot of Jewish temples, but they were empty. And so I asked the guy, I said, where are all the Jews that used to be in Egypt? He said, there's 5 Jews left in Egypt right now.
5.
5 total.
They killed them all.
No,
he never answered.
No, they went back to Israel
because
they were being persecuted
in Egypt.
In Egypt. So they went back
by
to
the Arabs,
homeland.
because the Arabs have taken over Egypt.
Yeah, they went back to Israel. But I could not believe when we were in Cairo and we went around, you could see where there had been Jewish temples, a lot of them, but they were all
the synagogues. Yeah,
synagogues. They were all empty.
Wow. So Jewish people have had a hard time, and they're God's chosen people. This country was birthed because of religion, right? We on the teachings of God, right?
Yes, who are trying to destroy our civilization,
our way of life.
Because
that's right.
we are the only country in the world that's left that you can run to.
That's it.
There is no other country in the
Right.
world.
They're all gone.
But us. We are the only freedom
They
left
took
in the
Brazil
world.
when they got rid of, excuse me, I got bad allergies.
And Argentina.
In Argentina, they're gone.
But-
they took them in the last 4 years.
But I can tell you, that's why all this is happening to this country and has been for 50 years, is they're trying to get control of the world. And we are the only thing standing in the way of the elite people. There's a small group of people that run the world.
You ever heard of the Bilderberg Group? Is that the one you're talking about? There are
Well,
2 groups I've heard.
I don't know the name, but I know that there's a group that runs the financing,
Right,
the banks.
that's Bilderberg.
There's a group that runs transportation. There's a group that runs the medical and healthcare. You know, and they can't run America, and it drives them crazy that they can't control us, but they can everywhere else.
What, you think they controlled Europe?
Yes.
As far as the European Union,
Absolutely.
Germany, all of that. I know Merkel almost destroyed her country when she went all green, and in the winter they were having to cut trees down because they didn't have enough electricity. They had to do wood to heat their homes, just like here. That's why Trump is saying, I'm not putting, I'm taking off this ban on ICE cars, right? I think out there Newsom, or New Scum, as a lot of people call him, he has that. I think Trump is saying he can't do it. But in, 2050, you can have no more not ICE, our people, ICE, internal combustion engine cars.
Correct.
The cars we drive every day, except the EVs. And I want to bring this out because we brought it out in another show earlier this year. We have more pollution on our streets by EVs I don't mean 1%. I mean hundreds of times more because of the tires and the heaviness of that engine under there.
Yes.
It's 5 times heavier than a motor, right? Or more than that, huh? 100.
Like the average truck might be 5,000 pounds, and EV's 9,400.
90. So it's almost double.
Almost double.
A truck, just a car, even an EV car is double the truck.
Yeah.
I know, it's the engine. And they were trying to hide that. The studies were done at Imperial College, well-known research university in England. and other places too, and they were trying to hide that for many years. You see little, what's her name, Greta Thunberg, or whatever her name is, now she's a grown woman talking about, remember her, she was Greta, the little German or one of the countries, blonde little girl, and she was the face of EV stuff for Europe. It was Greta Thunberg, I think is her name. And now she's grown up, she's trying to find another cause. She's into the pro-Palestine movement, right? So she's into that now. And it comes down to you all a lot about money. Because when you side with that woke, you make a lot of money. So do you think Iran's gonna, you think them and Russia will get involved together with Iran to help them?
I don't think so.
You know what, Trump, and this was a good point. They always say, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, right? Mm-hmm. Trump at the G7 last week was saying, it should be G8 still. Russia was a part of the G8. Mm-hmm. And you know, a lot of people, especially these leaders, their little egos are so fragile, right? Mm-hmm. Putin's a short man anyway, right? Oh, yeah. And so they took him out of the G8. But you let him stay in NATO, I think he's still there. China's in NATO, right? Yeah. All of them. And we fund NATO. But I think that was a mistake too. You want to know what he's thinking, and you want him there to answer to some of his decisions. Yes. So you stick him out of the G8, and you don't know what he's thinking. Mm-hmm. That was real stupid. And he liked being a part of the G8. I agree. And Trump said that the other day. I didn't know he was ever a part of it. I thought it was always a G7.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, I just read about it this morning, and I truly believe that Trump is trying to find common ground with Russia.
And with Iran. I mean, he's begged them to come negotiate.
He did. But, you know, the guy that used to be the Shah of Iran's son just came out today basically saying that they need a regime change to get rid of the Ayatollah. Because
they got Carter, and I was reading this. I'm writing a book, my sixth one, and it's going to be on writing about civil rights and things like that. And I'm going to have to make a point to black people out there and to white people who don't know too. But the Shah, I'm going to come back to that, but the Shah was, Carter wanted him, he kind of promoted him to leave, and the Ayatollah walks in. Yep. That was stupid. Yep. And you know, Carter also was the guy, how many, 294 people they kidnapped in Iran under Carter? The day Reagan came in, they let them loose because they knew it was, the shenanigans was over. Correct. So and I looked at Venezuela. I read some stuff about Venezuela. Carter also was involved in Venezuela being turned into a communist country. He went down there. The first president they had was a bus driver. Or this one may have been. One was a pauper and one was a bus driver. And so they don't have legal elections. Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world today. Yes. And their people are starving. Eric, is there anything you would like to leave with the public except buy your cars down in Zachary? So coming back to Dianne Andrews next time, and I know a lot of you all disagree with what I'm saying, probably what Erica said also, but just look it up. And don't go to AI to find it. Yeah, right. Talk to you later and see you next time. Have a healthy, wonderful, progressive next week. Bye.
They thought all of that was silly.